Hello people, I'm the Comic Book Gamer, and today I'm going to be talking about Emerald City Comic Con because I just went there the other day just for Friday. That's all I went for, no need to go back for another day. Generally when I go to cons I just like to go to one day because A, it's hard to get off work for more than one day, B, it's more expensive because you have to pay for more passes, and C, I can just get everything done in one day. There's not really any reason for me to go back. It'd be nice to go back, but there's no really reason to. But anyways, yeah, I had a lot of fun in Emerald City Comic Con. I can't wait to go back next year. This was my first one. Not my first convention, just my first Emerald City Comic Con. It was so much fun. I always have fun at conventions. It's great, the people you meet there, and like just the people that run the vendors and stuff, and the comic creators themselves. That's what was really cool. So I'm just gonna be talking about my pickups and meeting some of the creators, like people that I really like. And so yeah, let's just talk about the creators first. I got to meet a bunch of different people: Mitch Gerads, Ed Brisson, Kyle Higgins, Joshua Williamson, Charles Soule, and Chris Claremont. I had so much fun meeting those guys. It was really cool. I was very sort of like drab though because I was just really tired. I didn't get a whole lot of sleep the night before, and I woke up early and I was there at like a couple hours before the convention even opened, so I was just kind of dead. But I still got to talk to some of them. Some of them were just like nothing. Like Mitch Straz was the first guy I met. I got him to sign the all the volumes of Punisher Now that he worked on, and I got him to sign those. I was like, yeah, man, I really liked your Nathan's run on Punisher, like half asleep. And he's like, cool, man. I was like, keep up the good work on Mr. Miracle. And he's like, will do. And that was it. Like, just not a good conversation there. Well, it wasn't bad or anything. It was just a little awkward because I'm more of someone that I try to sort of match how the other person is. I'm not like a social butterfly or outgoing or will carry a conversation. I'm just kind of like, if someone's really talkative, I can try to match them, and that's how I am. So since Mitch Drads wasn't really trying to start a conversation or anything, I wasn't able to like carry it or take it anywhere. So it's just kind of fell flat. Ed Brisson, I didn't even get to talk to. He's the one person I got to sign stuff that I didn't get to talk to. I got him to sign my Iron Fist #1. The reason I didn't get to talk to him at all was because some lady was there, like just talking his ear off, just sitting there. Not She wasn't even part of his booth or anything. She wasn't buying anything. She wasn't getting him to sign anything. She was just sitting there talking to him about stuff. And he kind of motioned me over, and he signed my book, and then I left. Like that was it. I was like, oh man, I wish I could have got to talk to him a bit, but it was whatever. It was cool that I signed my Iron Fist #1. I also got to meet Kyle Higgins, who I've been a fan of ever since New 52 Nightwing. I got him to sign a bunch of different stuff. I got him to sign Nightwing #1 from his New 52 run. I got him to sign all 6 issues of Nightwing: The New Order, and then all 2 volumes of Cal, which was his creator's own series at Image. And that was mainly what I talked to him about, was Cal, because that's like the only, because there's no ongoing book that I read of his. Like I don't read Power Rangers, so I talked to him about Cal because I'm like, it's too long in between volumes, man. You need to bring Cal back. And he's like, I'm gonna try, dude. You're like you're like the 6th person to talk to me about Cal today. I really want to revisit that world. I hope we can. And he's talking about how he really wants to do it, and they're probably gonna do it. So I'm hoping they bring Cal back. That was cool. His was one of the few that I actually paid for autographs because he had an interesting setup to where I actually agreed with the setup. I liked how he did it. First 3 autographs are free, and then after that, it's like $5 for each autograph. And I was like, okay, that makes sense. So that way, someone who brings like a long box full of comics for you to sign, like they have to pay for it, but you're not punishing like the kid that comes up with like 3 comics for you to sign. So I liked his system, how he had it there, because a lot of people just do free autographs. Like even if someone brings up like 20, it's free. So, but that kind of sucks because then you'll be the person in line when you just have one comic for you want them to sign, but someone brought their entire collection. And it's like, oh damn, this really sucks. So yeah, I kind of liked how he had his system. I also met Joshua Williamson. I got him to sign my Flash Rebirth Volume 1. He was probably the cool. Him and Chris Claremont were the coolest people to talk to. Joshua Williamson, I talked to him mainly about how him and Jeff Johns got me into Barry Allen, because I was like, growing up, Wally West was everywhere. Wally West was my Flash growing up. He was who I really liked. But then I told him that Jeff Johns and him got me into Barry and made me like Barry more than Wally. Like Barry overtook Wally and became my Flash. Like I personally prefer Barry because of Jeff Johns and Joshua Williamson. And he's like, yeah, man, same for me. Jeff Johns really got me into Barry. Growing up, it was always Wally for me also. But then writing the character more and reading what Jeff did, I had more of a personal connection with the character, and I love writing Barry. And he was really fun to talk to. He's someone that like if I had more energy, I could have definitely like talked to him for a lot longer. Like he's someone you could talk to for a long time about stuff. Like he just seemed really energetic and positive and really cool to talk to. Joshua Williamson was like an awesome guy to talk to. And you have Charles Soule, who I got him to sign my Astonishing X-Men issue #1 and my Death of Wolverine trade paperback. So it's pretty cool to meet him. He's probably the most solid writer at Marvel right now. I say this all the time. He doesn't do much great and he doesn't do much bad. He's generally just like a solid, good, like 7 out of 10 writer. So I like Charles Soule. He does a lot of good stuff. I mainly talked to him about him bringing Wolverine back. And I'm like, I'm hoping that event's good. I can't wait for it. And he's like, yeah, man, it's taking up a lot of my time. And I'm like, well, I hope it's worth it. And then he kind of laughed. He's like, it will be. And I was like, okay, that's cool, man. I can't wait for that. And that was mainly all I talked to him about. He was promoting like his new book and doing a giveaway for it. And that's what he was really into. And he was like talking to like everyone around, like Charles Soule was talking to everyone around because there's like multiple people at the booth and he was like talking to everyone at once. So yeah, he was pretty cool. And then last but not least, we have Chris Claremont, the legend himself, who is up there in the ranks for me personally with like Stan Lee, Jack Kirby. Chris Claremont, he's that much of a legend status because he did so much for X-Men. So meeting him was great. He was definitely a big part of my comic book reading career, and so I waited in line for a long time to meet him. Actually, I was like, I don't know, maybe 30th in line or something to meet him. He's the one person who had like an actual line because everyone else either had no line or had like 2 people in line and that was it. So meeting him, I waited in line for a good while. The thing that sucked was it was $5 per autograph and he did cash only. So I didn't find out it was cash only until I got like 4th in line. And they're like, oh yeah, by the way, it's cash only. There's an ATM down there though. I'm like, well, this sucks because if I leave to go to the ATM, I lose my spot in line. I don't feel like waiting in line another like 45 minutes to do this, so I'm just gonna use what I have. And I had like $6, so I paid for 1 autograph. I got him to sign my Wolverine by Claremont and Miller, and talking to him was really cool. He seems really hungry for work actually, because I talked to him about it. I was like, what do you think of the current state of X-Men? And he's like, I don't know, what is the current state of X-Men? He's like, I don't read it. If I'm not writing it, what's the point? And if they get someone better than me, then I'm like, screw that guy. I hate that guy for being better than me. And he's really funny. And I was like, yeah, I guess you got a point there. And I told him I wish that Marvel would get him back on X-Men or Wolverine. He's like, tell them that. He's like, they don't even have to hire, because I was like, I wish they'd hire you back to do X-Men. And he's like, they don't even have to hire me. I already work for them. They just have to literally call me and I'll do it. He's like, if you go to a Marvel booth, tell them to put me on a book. And I'm like, okay, will do, because I would love for him to be on a book. Chris Claremont, how could you not have that guy on a book? Because he hasn't done a whole lot lately, so I'd like to see him like make a comeback. That would be really cool. And then I talked to him a bit about the Wolverine movie, you know, the one done like 2013, I think it was, the one based off of his and Frank Miller's book. And he was talking about how he didn't really care for the movie that much. He said there was a first draft that was much better, that was a lot more of an adaptation, and it was done by someone else. I can't remember the name of like the filmmakers that were going to do that one, but he said that one was going to be really good. It was a lot more of an adaptation. He didn't really care for the actual movie that came out, and that was pretty much my entire conversation with Chris Claremont. But he was really cool because everyone that came up, he would have a full-length conversation with him. Like, even when he was done signing your books, done taking your money and everything, he would still keep talking to you for like 5-10 minutes, which kind of sucked if you were like waiting in line. But when you got there, it was awesome because the guy kept talking to you, which was just really cool. And it was funny because he did cash only, so he had like a duffel bag next to him filled with cash, because you'd have people that bring up like 60 issue collections of X-Men. He would sign every single one of them, $5 for each one. They'd give him the cash and he'd just throw it in a duffel bag. Like, that dude had so much cash there. It was pretty baller. So yeah, now let's get into what I got from the con. So I got mainly trade paperbacks, hardcovers, but I did get one print, and that was this right here. This print right here, trying to see if you guys can see it. Yeah, is World War II style Superman. I liked it. I thought it was pretty cool. It was only $20. It was one of the bigger prints too, because a lot of the prints there were like $40 and they were tiny. They were like this big. And I'm like, I don't want something this big. My favorite are like posters like that. That poster back there that I have, that's like 27 by 40. I like bigger posters. This one's not 27 by 40, but it's still pretty big and actually noticeable instead of like the tiny ones. So I was like, I wanted something actually good. So I got that. It was pretty cool. It was only $20, which is pretty good price. And then I also got this. I got Wolverine and Kitty Pryde, because I've wanted this collection for years, but it was so hard to find the trade. So I found the issue collections and I was like, oh, that's cool. It was only $15. So I got that. $15 is kind of just standard for this. It's not like a good price or a bad price. It's just kind of like standard, but it's actually a good price considering the trade is generally more expensive. When I was looking for that, it's like a lot more expensive, so it was a pretty good price. I got Emperor Joker, which I read like one issue of forever ago and I never read the full series, so I got that. Got it for half off, so that's $10, because this was part of the like they'd have like bins of trade paperbacks and be like 50% off, so this is $20, so it's $10 half off. Then I got Man of Steel Volume 7. This is just to more complete the collection I have of John Burns run. This was also $10 that I got because that was part of half off. I got Karnak by Warren Ellis because I've never actually read any of it or care about Karnak or Inhumans in general, but I heard this series was really good forever ago. I heard it was like fantastic and you need to read it, and it was only $5. This was in like a $5 bin. There was one place that had $10 hardcovers and $5 trade paperbacks, so I got this. I was like, yes, that's like a really good deal for that, because normally it's $18 for market value. I got this also as part of the $5 trade paperbacks. Just, I love G.I. Joe, and I'm trying to collect all of the America's Elite Disavowed, so that's another volume for that. They had more of it, but I didn't want to spend it all on G.I. Joe. Also, the problem with G.I. Joe is the fact that I forget which volumes I have, because I have so many different weird collections of G.I. Joe that it's not like in my head of, oh, I have volume 4 of G.I. Joe Disavowed. No, it's like random volumes I don't remember. I got Identity Crisis hardcover. This was also part of the $10 hardcovers. I already owned Identity Crisis on digital, but I wanted it in actual physical, so they had the hardcover for $10. I'm like, yes, I'll take that, because generally it's $25, so to have it actually for $10 is pretty good. And then I also got this, which was another $10 hardcover. That is such a good deal. Look at how thick this book is. This is volume 2 of Brian Michael Bendis's run on Daredevil. So to get that for $10 was a really good deal. I thought I got a really good haul from Emerald City Comic Con, and that's all I got from Emerald City Comic Con. I spent a good amount of money, but everything was pretty cheap. That's the great part about going to cons. You save so much money and how much trades you buy. It's just, you know, how much you spend on the ticket is the only problem. But besides that, like, you get trades super cheap. That's my favorite part. I don't really get like single issues because I'm not a vintage comic like hunter or anything like that. That just vintage comics are too expensive and I don't really care that much. It'd be cool to have vintage comics, but it's not like that big of a deal. I have very few vintage comics. Like I've got the first appearance of Deathstroke. I got signed by George Perez, but that's like kind of it. Besides that, I don't really have any vintage comics. And yeah, so I just mainly go for trades, and they're super cheap because you have a lot of comic shops trying to get rid of like their back inventory. And so yeah, but anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a like, and I'll see you guys next time.
Legends never die, we've been going every night. I've been feeling way too blessed, but with Lex I'm never stressed. They don't know just what we do, we've been out here with the crew. They don't know just how we live, think we got too much to give.